What up? It's the boy Jay running, holding it down with the magnificent T. What's popping, my guy?
Man, what's good? What's good? What's hood? What's
Undrafted
up,
player show,
Captain?
man.
Yeah, man.
Everything good, man.
All right.
Captain of the, you feel me? You did, you did. You know what I mean? You feel me? I like that hat. I like that hat. What that mean?
But this Hurley. One of
Hurley.
my boys is sponsored by Hurley, so we give him a little shout out, man. Hurley.
Okay, that's what's
Yeah.
up, man. We got a lot to talk about today, man. The Knicks, they was balling out of control yesterday, but they took it L. We took it L. It was a great game. Jalen Brunson got hurt in overtime. Final score was 109 to 113. First quarter was 27-31 LA. Second quarter was 33-20 New York. Third quarter was 24-25 LA. And fourth quarter was 15-23 LA. So the fourth quarter, that's where we slowed down at. We was up 11, I believe, early in the fourth quarter, but as you see, we only scored 15 points and LA scored 23 points. OT, we scored 10 points and LA scored 14, which was the final of 109 to 113 LA. But it was a pretty exciting game, really, really good. Jalen Brunson, I believe, he tied the game 107 to 107. Or was it 105 to 105? Either or, he went out directly after that because he had a ankle sprain, which is a good thing overall. Not at that particular time, no. I thought this was going to be a major injury because it looked really, really bad. It almost looked like the incident with Kyrie Irving, where he had to come out of the game and be helped. But according to reports, it was just an ankle sprain. Uh, for the most part, everybody played pretty well. A little disappointed in a couple of people, but OG had 20 points, which is cool. Josh had 18, which Josh is not really a scorer. He's more so a defensive player. Karl Anthony Towns only had 12 points. So I'm a little disappointed in that. He needed to show up for that particular game. Mikal Bridges only had 6 points, and that's overtime. I'm a little disappointed, a lot disappointed in that because I always say Mikal should at least have 18 to 22 points. Jalen Brunson had 39 points. So that was a hell of a game for Jalen Brunson. Um, Miles McBride, he normally does very well off the bench. I'm going to give him a little pass on this particular one. He had 0 points in 21 minutes. Mitchell Robinson had 6 points in 13 minutes and 4 rebounds. They still trying to get him slowly in the mix of things. So I'm not really mad at that number. But Cameron Payne only had 3 points. So our bench really didn't show up. Uh, Landry only had 5 points. They didn't show up at all. Actually, they not a little bit did they show up. They didn't show up at all. If the bench had a performance, we would have won the game. If Mikal Bridges had about 18 points to 22 points, like I say, we would have won the game. But the LA Lakers, they had pretty good scoring. I think this is the second time overall. LeBron James had 31 points, 12 rebounds. Jason had 8 points. Luka had 32 points, 12 assists, and 7 rebounds. He almost had a triple double. And Austin Reeves, he didn't play as well. He only had 8 points in 32 minutes, but he did have 6 rebounds, which is very important because he's a guard. Their bench played a little better, but they didn't do as much between LeBron and Luka. That's how the Knicks came away with that particular victory, which
Loss.
I'm sorry. Yes, loss. Good correction. we should have came away with the victory, but that's the second time that Luka and LeBron had 30 plus points, which is a good sign for the LA Lakers. But what do you think about it, my guy, Magnificent T? What's up?
Oh, I don't. What am I supposed to think, yo?
I don't know. Just tell
I'm
me your
a,
opinion of
I'm
just
one.
the
I'm one of
game
the
in general.
biggest. I'm one of the biggest Knicks haters on the planet. You know that. So nah, it was a good game. Knicks always put on the show.
Yeah,
Mikal Bridges, man, very disappointing. Kind of
I agree.
reminds me of Tobias Harris. With the Philadelphia 76ers were going through with Tobias Harris last season. I expected a lot more this season out of Mikal Bridges. But Cat, we already know what time it is, but Cat, you know, make or break, you know what I'm saying? When he's making them shots, he gives y'all decent numbers and puts on the show. when the shots aren't falling, he looks broken. So
Yeah,
it is what it is, man. Really, I was really impressed with. Well, I'm not impressed. I mean, we know what time it is, but Luca. So Luca and LeBron, you got Luca's offense, LeBron's offense and defense. Austin Reeves,
yeah.
yeah, the
Austin didn't
Lakers look
play
like,
too good, but
huh?
Luca looked. I said Austin didn't play too good, but Luca looked amazing. I mean, 7 rebounds, 12 assists, and 32 points. That's great.
So
Even
you,
LeBron.
so you thinking the Lakers might come out the West?
I don't think
Oh,
they're
we're
gonna
not
come
going
out
to
the
leap
rest.
that far into the future. We have plenty
I
of
don't think
time.
they will. I think they are they have a good potential of at least being the top 4 teams. You know, so yeah, they showing a better push than Luca and Kyrie and LeBron and AD. I will say that. So they look better with each other. I mean, Luca's a scorer, but when you have 7 rebounds and LeBron has 12 rebounds, that's amazing because the rebounds is actually what really in defense what can control the game. So if you have two people that even though Luka didn't have double digits, but 7 is a lot, especially for him. And not only the 7, he had 12 assists. That's amazing. But I don't think they will. To me, will still be the strong team out of the Western Conference. I think
Man,
OKC's still going to be that. I think Golden State probably has a better chance. I mean, they looking pretty good. Now, Golden State is kind of iffy to a certain extent because the games are close, but when you have, I think for Curry, he just needs a number 2, and he has a number 2, and Jimmy Butler. So I think they probably have a better chance of going further than the Lakers, but I won't count the Lakers out because you got King James and you got Luca, which is who is 25 years old and one of the best players, probably in the top 3 players at this particular time right now.
I mean, they just beat your Villanova Knicks.
Yeah, but they barely got by. And
Barely
and
got
and I
by.
will say this. I
A
will
win's a
say this
win.
about the Knicks. I agree. A win's a win, but I will say this about the Knicks, man. Right now, we in a identity crisis because we don't know what we want to be. And that's
Yep.
because last year we knew what we were. We knew it was about defense, it was about turnovers, it was about diving for the ball.
And,
We
that,
have moments of that, but we're not consistent. What you about to say?
and now y'all want to be Villanova. Y'all want to be Villanova. Y'all want to be Philly so bad. Now y'all got to deal with the consequences. So that's what's up,
Yeah,
man.
we
The
just not
injuries
consistent.
and the players not, playing well together. Cat having bad games, but I'm gonna save my hate to the end of the season. I like how the Lakers look. I wouldn't be surprised if they made it to the finals. I think that'd be a good look for the NBA, but it is what it is. My team is the Philadelphia 76ers, and we are trash.
Yeah.
We're looking forward to the NBA draft.
You got playoff P. I'm sorry, podcast P. He stopped his
Regular
podcast.
season P, since he stopped, doing the podcast. So he said,
He need to do the podcast now because you ain't going nowhere. But that's a whole nother different story, man. As far as the Mavs, man, I wanted to talk a little bit about the Mavs. It sucks because Clay went there for Luca, which would have been a good 1-2 plus Kyrie. Um, but they traded Luca, as you see. We talked about Anthony Davis all season long and how he's injury prone. First game, he dominated, but then he got hurt. And now we got Kyrie out. I believe it's for a torn ACL. Is it ACL?
ACL. The whole team is injured, man. They got about
Yeah.
6 or 7 players out.
Yeah, they got a lot of players out. I saw
Yeah, it was
a
wild
clip.
when Kyrie got hurt. I almost was thinking, I'm being sarcastic, but Kyrie did that on purpose just to the gut the season. I mean, the boys ain't going nowhere.
Kyrie ain't do that on purpose, But
Oh
I will
man,
say this: Kyrie don't get hurt a lot. He did get hurt when he was on Cleveland, so that was partially the reason why they didn't win that particular year. But he's a baller, you know what I'm saying? And
he
that
wasn't
looked
hurt. He
pretty
wasn't hurt when he
bad.
was in Brooklyn. Why wasn't
I
he
don't
playing when he
remember.
was in Brooklyn? I thought he
Oh,
was injured.
it was two things. You remember the COVID thing when he didn't want to take the COVID test, and you don't remember that?
Oh, no, yeah,
Yeah.
now I
So
remember.
partially when it was COVID time, he's like, "I'm not taking the vaccine," so they didn't allow him to play. And I know he was in and out. He might have been injured at a period of time. I don't really remember that, but I do remember him not taking the test, and they put him on the bench. So that particular year, he was like in and out of the lineup, and it never been the same. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I
So,
guess you could say injury.
yeah, he was injured. So, do you think, I mean, this season in particular, with this injury he has now, it came to my attention earlier that he's practicing Ramadan, which means he's fasting. Do
Yeah.
you think the lack of nutrition might have anything to do with I mean, this type of injury that he suffered since he hasn't been injured for what 2 years or at least 1 year?
Nah, I think that was just a bad footing. He tried to make a good play. He landed on the wrong foot. He got kneed in the knee on one, and him getting kneed on that, he put a lot of weight on his left foot, I believe. And when he did that, I just think it was just one of those knick-knack injuries. And
So
it's so weird because I feel like today's players get injured way more, and maybe because they do more practice and they do more stuff behind the scenes, but they play the same amount of games. They play 82
that's what
games. They
Kawhi was
play
trying to
82.
tell y'all though. Kawhi's trying to say that we do so much practicing and you get injured. So
Yeah.
that's why Kawhi be
I,
chilling now, man.
I can see that. At first I was like, what the hell is going on? But I think they prepare so much in today's NBA that could be why. Because realistically, the old NBA, they should be getting injured more because they were bigger, they were more bulkier, they wasn't as athletic as today is, but they didn't get injured at all. You never really seen too many people, and when you did see somebody get injured, it was like one and done. Like Michael Jordan, he had a foot injury one time, and that was it. You know what I'm saying? I don't remember Oakley ever getting injured. I don't remember you
That's
ever getting injured.
that's
I
because
don't
when those guys
remember
when
Hakeem
the
ever
game
getting
was
injured.
when the game was over, man, the boys went to Club Forum and they hung out, and they weren't doing all that training and 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the morning, practicing and with the different trainers and on the different supplements. And them guys wasn't doing that, man. Them guys was eating real food, and they were going out, hanging out, and doing a lot of recreational stuff, good and bad. So I think that's the
Yeah,
difference right there, man.
I agree.
It
I
seems
didn't
like
think
now you
Wimby was
training
gonna get hurt.
who?
Wimby, I didn't think he was going to get hurt. We talked about that a lot, and how these last few years he been in the lead, he didn't get hurt. It was minor stuff, and then when he got hurt, I was actually surprised because initially we literally just talked about the Slender Man, and he's going to
Mm.
be dominant, the face of the lead, if he doesn't get hurt. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't think he would get hurt. I don't think you thought he was going to get hurt, and then probably like a week or two later, he got hurt. Like.
Well, it's wild. They're training these guys, to be athletes now. The training is and for these guys to get these injuries. I think it's basically what you said. They're out there on their feet a lot. They're moving around. They're very active. And you got to play basketball at the end of the day or in the middle of the week, or and you get hurt.
What do you think about the face of the lead? That's been a big conversation. LeBron James talked a little bit about it, even though he answered for Anthony Edwards, which I thought was kind of weird, and how he said that he wouldn't or he doesn't want to be the face of the lead. Do you think there's a lot of pressure in today's time, or you think people are not taking the challenge per se?
Who doesn't want to be face of the league?
Anthony Edwards, that's what he said. He doesn't want to be the face of the league.
And maybe he just doesn't want the attention. He doesn't want the challenge. It's a lot of, with the good comes a whole lot of bad because a lot of folks hate LeBron and he's the face of the league. So you don't want
Yeah.
that type of attention, that type of pressure, type of scrutiny, folks looking over your shoulder, your whole career,
Well,
messing
this is
with
my thing.
antagonizing your kids and,
What we're gonna get into that aspect, but as face of the lead, man, I don't think anybody wants that. I know they talk about MJ, but at one time MJ actually took a strike from being interviewed. He literally was like, you know what? I'm not being interviewed by nobody. Nobody's gonna be able to do it. And then eventually he let Ahmad Rashad do it, but it was because they was talking about his gambling stuff. I don't think MJ wanted to be necessarily the face of the lead. And if you know MJ or you see MJ, he doesn't take
Right.
pictures
He
with
don't want to be the
kids.
face of his own company. So
He yeah. He
it
don't want to
makes
do none of
sense.
that stuff.
Right, because
Yeah.
it's a spotlight on you. You're being exposed. And a lot of these guys want to do what they do, under the radar. They want to have a good time. They want to have fun. They it's not unfortunate for them because they're in a great situation in life, being millionaires and athletes and everything that comes with that. But they want to fly under the radar. They want to do what you do and not be scrutinized about it.
But I think scrutiny is a part of it. It builds character. It's funny because I saw a video of a boxer. I don't know his name, but he's not a popular boxer. But he was like he was boxing. He beat this person up. He was ranked whatever city it was, the number one boxer in that city. And then he backed out down for a little bit. He went basically in hiding, came back, took it over again, and then he was just talking about how boxing is not good because people look at you a certain way, and if you lose, he made an example of Ryan Garcia. No, he made an example of Rolly Romero and Tank Davis. How everybody was praising Tank when he won, and then when Rolly lost, people were crying and stuff like that. And he's like, "This is just not the way." But I feel like I know with social media is just the aspect that the availability to everybody. I felt like that builds character, win or lose, right? You win, people show you love, they praise you, blah blah blah. But there's gonna be a point in time where you're not gonna be on the winning side. Even I know Floyd got the 50, but he took a lot of scrutiny. There's been a lot of fights that he almost won, or people felt like he lost, and he had to deal with that. I just feel like I don't know. It's just weird because I feel like growing up in 80s, 90s, early 2000, we were built with character, and it was like, all right, if you fail, you get back up. Now people don't want to take on that pressure of losing. You know what I'm
You want
saying?
to
If they lose, they want to be depressed. You feel me?
you want to stunt 24/7, man.
You can't though. That's not
Folks
life.
don't
You're gonna lose
folks
in
aren't
something.
trying to take L's. L's aren't advertised anymore.
Yeah.
L is
I
an
mean,
insult now. When back in the 90s, late 90s, early 2000s, an L was motivation.
yeah, I agree. It should be motivation now because ain't nobody's gonna ever win forever. No matter what business, no matter what level you on. So it should be advertised. I think this was good for Tank, even though he didn't take an official L. He took a draw, which nobody ever thought he probably would have take. You know what I mean? And he said it in there. They love you and then they hate you and then they love you again. But that's just part of life. It builds character. One thing I will say about Tank, I don't think he really cares. If he would have lost that fight,
Mm.
it wouldn't have made him no different. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like we kind of lost that. People don't like to lose. I mean, you shouldn't like to lose, but if you lose, that shouldn't be end all be all. You feel me?
Well, it shouldn't be the end of the world, and they teach you that back in rec football, rec sports. Coming up as kids, somebody's got to lose.
Yeah.
Me and you right now, we can hop on a game of Madden. Somebody has to lose.
Somebody gotta lose.
That's
But
what
what
it
they used
is.
to say though, what
What's
was the
that?
answer that they used to say? You don't remember?
Elaborate or enlighten me.
Winning ain't everything.
Yeah, it isn't.
You feel me? So learning sometimes and a good coach will tell you like winning ain't everything. What
Well,
did you learn?
I think they dumbed down winning, especially in rec. You make it to the championship game, both teams going home with trophies and pizza. You know,
Yeah, I agree.
and
You're
if a
right.
lot of
Some
folks were old heads were complaining about that, like, nah, only one team's supposed to win. This what they call the participation trophy.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
don't
that's
believe in no
important though.
participation trophies and this and that. So I mean, I feel it on both levels. Feel both points of view. Like I'm feeling what these guys are saying. I mean, you're supposed to want to win. When you lose, you're supposed to be mad, and that motivates you to come back out next year and try and
Yeah.
win. But like what we're talking about right now is being able to accept the loss and keep it moving, right? So the whole philosophy behind giving out participation trophies, it makes sense. Give these guys, y'all made it here. Here's a trophy. Y'all going about y'all business. It's only right.
But let's be real though. The tip the anticipation
Participation,
trophy was literally a plaque or was a small trophy.
right?
It wasn't the big trophy, but you did go something because I played in a lot of stuff like that. I have a bunch of
Participation
type
trophies,
awards like that. Yeah, I got big trophies too. Don't get me wrong, but just participating in a tournament, depending on what it was, I got those things, and it was cool because you're right. You get to hang them, or you get to give it to somebody if it's third place or no place. The plaque because you was just a part of it. Third place because you was third place, or you got the number one trophy, which typically was big. You know what I'm saying? So I get that, but those other trophies wasn't major. They was either a cup like
I mean,
this
you got something
or
saying that
or
you
was a
was
plaque.
there. Yeah, you got
Yeah,
something saying that you was there, and that's what's up.
yeah.
When they used to
But
have little
losing
ribbons
wasn't.
back in no, not the ribbons, the medals they used to give you back in middle
Oh
school.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, when
yeah. I
we had
remember that.
color day.
Yeah, yeah. I got a bunch of
Yeah,
those too. I got a bunch of
yeah,
medals still at my grandma's crib. I think my auntie owned the crib now. So, but I had a bunch of those things in the crib, and it did make you feel good because you did get something, but you knew if you won, you would have got something that was better than what you
right.
got, but you
So it
got
gave you
something because you
motivation
was a
to
part
want to
of it.
do better.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And but
But
if you lost, you wasn't tripping.
right, you weren't tripping to the point where I'm done. I ain't playing no more. You come
Yeah.
back out next year and you give it your all and go after it again. So
All right,
you
so
know,
let's go into the big news, man. We talked about the New York Knicks and the LA Lakers. Obviously, the game was on the West Coast. Stephen A. Smith is a big New York fan, so he was in the building. And then there was
oh
footage of
boy,
him and LeBron face to face courtside. And typically at that very moment, we only could speculate what happened. You could tell LeBron was a little mad. He was, in Steven's face, like, yeah, and then walked away. And then Steven shakes his head a little bit. You know what I'm saying? But Stephen A said what he said, and we're gonna go to the footage right now. Because Stephen A explained what LeBron said to him, and then we're gonna talk about it. All right.
Coming up to me, unexpectedly, I might add, uh, to confront me about making sure that I mind what I say about his son. Can't repeat the words because they ain't suited for FCC airwaves. That's what he was doing. That wasn't a basketball player confronting me. That was a parent. That was a father. And I can't sit here and be angry or feel slighted by LeBron James in any way in that regard. Now, let me tell you what I feel. I never would speak negatively about your son. I was talking about you, meaning you, LeBron James. I have nothing but the best wishes for Bronny James. I wish him nothing but the best. I hope that he flourishes into an NBA star. Usually in other sports, we see all stars, and on occasion, we'll see their children become stars as well. That doesn't really happen with the NBA. I sincerely hope he's the exception. By all accounts, he's a wonderful kid. And I don't know anybody who roots against him, and it certainly isn't me. But in the same breath, at the time that we were talking about him, he was percolating to such a degree that the Bronny James stories had gone viral. And so we had to talk about it. And when I said the things that I said, I was talking about the position that he was put in by his dad. Because LeBron James has been on the record and he has said, and I'll read the quote here. There was a quote that he gave in February of 2024. The work and results will ultimately do talking, no matter what the size. If y'all don't know, he doesn't care what mock drafts say. He just works, earned, not given, etc., etc. But he also had said that his son could play on the Lakers right now, and he was better than half the dudes in the NBA. In the aftermath of all of that, he instructed everybody before the draft that y'all want me, draft Bronny. Wherever Bronny is at, that's where I'll be. I'll do whatever it takes to play with my son for a year. It's not about the money at that point. My point months ago was that because of who you are, one of the top 2 players in the history of basketball, in my estimation, there's an immense amount of pressure that comes with that for his son. And when he talked like that and what have you, anything that goes awry as it pertains to his son, there's going to be a microscopic eye, even more intensified, on Bronny James because of his dad and what his dad had said.
So I'm gonna let you start with it, the Magnificent T. What is your take? What is your thought? How do you feel?
I mean, Stephen A was talking smack about Bronny. But like he said, LeBron told the world that Bronny was ready to ball out. He could play for the Lakers right now, and he's better than half the players in the league. Sound to me, I would have took it like LeBron just, running his mouth. I don't think he was sipping his own Kool-Aid, but that's his kid. It was okay for LeVar Ball to brag on his kids and say what all they could do. So why is it okay for LeBron to do the same? We all knew that Bronny wasn't going to come out and be jumping out of the stadium. The man had a heart attack a season ago, and he's still on that road to recovery. But we know he's talented. He's been playing basketball since he was about 6, 7 years old. So I think Stephen A was picking on Bronny, but LeBron is supposed to be a professional and see what it is. But then again, they're attacking Bronny to attack LeBron. So I kind of get it, but why have this outburst so late in the season? Instead of basically coming at these guys when they were doing it, back in August and July. And to Bronny's defense, I was telling someone earlier, Bronny has the highest sales of basketball jerseys. So everybody was crying
Top
about the
3.
money he was going to cost the Lakers, a little $7 million or whatever. He's made these guys over 80. So I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's crazy. I don't understand why LeBron. What went down to make LeBron go after Stephen A. Last night in New York? I know he sees Stephen A. all the time, right? Was it in New York? It was in L.A., right? The
It
game
was
was
in
in
LA. It was in LA.
L.A.
Yeah.
I know he sees Stephen A. all the time. So what happened? That he basically gave Stephen A. that verbal assault, that verbal ambush.
Well, Stephen A said it was him being a father. I can't give LeBron credit for him being the father because if he was he's a good father. I'm not going to say he's not a good father. I feel like he let his emotions get to him. But as somebody that played, and even today, sometimes my mother want to talk for me, and I'm like, "Mama, be quiet. I got this." You know what I'm saying? This is a sport, man. Your son is here, and I'm pretty sure that Bronny feels like this, like, Dad, shut the F up. All right.
But
Let
it's
me
kind of
handle it.
different. It's kind of different though because your mom wasn't playing basketball when you were playing basketball. So LeBron is playing ball. He gets interviewed all the time, and Bronny comes up. So of course, I mean, the man, he's only human. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
I
of
agree.
course, and this with 82 games, and you got to hear this mess probably every other night. I
Yeah,
mean,
but
the outburst,
your
it's going
son,
it's going to happen. But Stephen A is funny trying to play the nice guy role. Like, oh man, no, I'm not. I wasn't talking about Bronny per se. I don't have any issues with Bronny. It's you, LeBron. You're the one that put him out there like that. You're the one that sold him like he was, the next big thing. So, everything that he's going through, it's your fault. When we talk crap about Bronny, we're not talking about Bronny per se. We're talking about you. You know, and I think LeBron
yeah.
is like, man, leave it at me then. Why you attacking my son? Bronny's a
Well,
kid, man. We don't know how.
nah, stop,
Let me.
bro.
Well,
Stop.
okay. Well, Stephen A. said he was a kid. Stephen A. said,
I
he's a
don't
good
care
kid.
what
He's a
Like
good
Stephen
kid.
A. What he said, yes, yay and nay. I don't care what Stephen A. say. Your son is a professional athlete. He's in the league, and he has to be treated as a player. And like I said, like even Bronny at the beginning, he was like, I don't care what team I play for. I just want to be in the lead. Even though LeBron, he did the chess moves, and that's cool. You know what I'm saying? LeBron did what he did. He said, I'm gonna play whatever team that my son is on because I want to play with my son. But you cannot pick and choose because LeBron is a great athlete, right? He's okay with people going after him, right? Now, isn't Bronny in the same lead and sport that LeBron is, and we can't talk anything or say anything about Bronny? That's
Well,
crazy. And just like you said that his sales, which I think is in the top 3 or top 5, and it could be number 1 because it could
it
have
was
switched.
number one at one
So
time.
so people are literally buying a jersey just because it's Bronny. I don't want to say LeBron's son. So because he has the number 1 sales in jersey or number 2 or number 3 between 1 and 5 at any particular time, he's making sales and he's being effective. So him doing those things, he has to be able to take scrutiny. He has to be able to take criticism. He's getting paid to be in a lead of players, and you can't be daddy daycare. What LeBron say? LeBron say, Bronny, don't call me what?
Daddy,
Daddy.
dad.
Why did he say that? Because y'all playing the game. And right now, you ain't daddy, and LeBron and Bronny ain't son because we on the same team. We in the same profession. We in the same business. So don't call me daddy. Don't be hey dad, hey bro, hey Bron,
so,
what's up? You know what I'm saying?
so, so when did LeBron say that you can't talk about Bronny? That's what I want to know. When did he say you can't mention Bronny's name? He never said that. He
Nah, he
just,
didn't.
man, he told Stephen A. basically this is getting old. Something went down that we're not aware of because I mean it's wild. This has been going on since, like I said, July,
Yeah.
and now it's what, March, and Brian steps to Stephen A. at a basketball
You
game
know
of
what's
all places.
crazy? He stepped to Stephen A. and he said what he said, and Stephen A. said it was, you know, X-rated or whatever. Whatever he said, cool. But when he was in the All-Star Weekend and he was talking to Jaylen Brown, what'd he say? He gave him dap. It was a light dap, but he ain't confront him. Jaylen Brown said what? Bronny's not an NBA player. So you got a heat for somebody that's an analyst and supposed to talk sports, but another player,
But but but
everybody
it
read lips. Go
but
ahead.
it's Stephen A. talking sports. Something went down that we don't know about for that man to step to him like
I
that.
agree. I agree. Well, I'm just going off what Stephen A. said. Stephen A. said that he said
I
something
mean,
about what he said in the past, or somebody said that he said. That's what he also said. He said, I didn't even say anything, but I think somebody told him I said something, which you might be right. And it might have been horrible. But at the end of the day, like, listen, if I was a child and I was a son of somebody that was in the league, I would not want my father talking for me. That's just me. And I would be mindful, and this is me now, as a parent, because I know how I was to be talking for my son. Because everything
well,
that you do, and I get what Stephen A said too. He was like, listen, everybody got my telephone number. So if there was an issue, you could have reached out, but you basically wanted to make a scene. You knew the
right.
cameras was going to be on, and you wanted to say something like you was doing something, but you really wasn't doing anything. You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
no, he was doing something because by stepping to Stephen A. like that, anybody else that want to get outside them boundaries or whatever, it was an intimidation move. For future analysts that might want to try LeBron. You, I got
Yeah.
what he was doing, and he did do something. We're talking about it right now, so he did something. Stephen A. just tries to undersell all this stuff and make himself look so professional and
Yeah.
normal and the good guy. And I can't believe LeBron did that, but I'm a father
Well, if you,
myself.
yeah, I know. I got 2 girls,
Yeah.
but if you know about today's time, man, that's not gonna work. that's actually gonna make more people attack, more people respond, and more people say things. Especially with the GOAT talk, Michael Jordan, LeBron James. Oh, he ain't a GOAT. He trying to defend his son. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
he
And
definitely lost the
maybe that's
battle
what he
with
want to
that.
do too.
He
Maybe
lost the
he want to
battle
do
with
that
that.
too. I don't know.
Or maybe he wants to be
So,
the
but
bad guy.
it could be. I can see that too. And I might give him momentum. Like they used to say that Michael Jordan used to talk junk to people and act like the people said something to Michael Jordan just so he could get mad. Kobe was kind of the same thing. So maybe
Shaq
he's
too.
using this, yeah, to play better. I
Yeah,
don't know. I mean, they are playing better.
they said Shaq purposely started stuff with people just to, and made up all kind of mess just so he could be fake mad out there on the court, dunk on folks,
Yeah.
and I heard a David Robinson story he told. He said he was telling everybody the reason he didn't like David Robinson was because we're talking about Mr. Robinson,
Yeah.
San
The
Antonio
clean
Spurs.
guy of the NBA,
Yeah, yeah. He
very
was like,
organized,
I
ain't
don't
going to
like
talk
David
junk.
Robinson because when I was a kid, I tried to get his autograph. I saw him somewhere. I tried to get his autograph, and he said no and kept on walking. I never forgot that. So when I got in the league, I tried to tear his head off.
That's funny.
I'm like, that's a good story, but David Robinson flat out told you no for an autograph,
Yeah.
Mr.
Well,
Basketball.
I can see that. I met
Yeah,
David
but he
Robinson.
admitted he admitted after he retired. Shaq admitted that he lied. He made
Oh,
that
okay.
up. You
Okay.
know, he was
I'm about
trying
to
to
say I
get
can see that.
yeah. Well, he was trying to basically, get some heat going.
Yeah.
So, but he said a lot of
I met
times, he would do that, but he would believe that stuff. He go out there and try to
Yeah,
tear
I
people's
feel
head
like
off.
that. They
Yeah.
put that stuff in their head and they really do end up believing that. But yeah, you're right. I met David Robinson one time. Lloyd Daniels, he was on my block, literally right across the street. He played in the NBA, so he used to bring a lot of the San Antonio team to the area. Lloyd Daniels, if you never heard of him, he was a hood legend. He got shot a bunch of times, almost died, and he made it to the NBA. He ended up playing for San Antonio Spurs, so he used to bring them, and a lot of them NBA players were assholes. Even Lloyd at times, you know what I mean, because the attention that he was getting, which I can understand. So if you told me that, I probably say I could kind of see that because on that level, you kind of get annoyed even with kids, and I was a kid at that time. You know what I'm saying? So I could see Shaq saying something like that, but is Shaq really that younger than Dave Robinson?
Well, at least 10 years, right?
Oh yeah, it could be about 10 years. That makes sense. So, but you said it wasn't true, so he lied about it. So I can see that though. I see people trying to, you know, because David Robinson is a likable guy. You know what I'm saying? So if the Spurs is the best team in the NBA, and they got a likable guy. Then they got another likable guy, Tim Duncan's, and then you got Avery Johnson, which is the general, another likable guy. You know what I'm saying? You got to try to build up something just to compete against them, and a lot of people did that. Jordan was great at it. Him and Charles Barkley was friends. So I feel like Charles Barkley never really got up for the games because they ate food the day before or whatever they did. And I heard he used to do that with some of the Knicks players as well. So I don't know. It's a science, it's a sport. Um, I will say this: obviously, social media plays a lot what goes on in today's time. We didn't have that, but it was still a lot of scrutiny of Michael Jordan. This is what I hate because people act like we all love Michael Jordan, and it's like, no,
Yeah.
nah. We always you was a fan
Actually,
of
we were rooting. We
76ers.
were rooting against him. I
Yeah,
always
I'm a
tell
Knicks
people,
fan.
yeah, I was only with Jordan for one run, and that's when they beat the Lakers and won their first title.
Yeah,
They got past Detroit, they got past Boston. When they got past Boston and then Detroit, and I was pulling for Chicago, and I didn't really like the Showtime Lakers. Lakers had everybody on the team.
yeah,
So
I agree.
I think that was the year Magic was sick during the series. Then it came out later on, a few months later, that he had the
He was kissing
HIV.
guys. Oh,
Yeah,
HIV. Oh yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
But
yeah,
when they went up against Portland, I was pulling for Portland. Talking about Chicago. When Chicago went against Seattle, I was pulling for Seattle. When they went against Phoenix, and I hated that Phoenix team because I'm a native Philadelphian, so I'm a 76ers head for life, and we had lost
Oh,
Charles
because it's
Barkley.
Charles Barkley. Yeah,
Right. But I was pulling for Phoenix, man. That's the year Barkley won the MVP, and Jordan
Yeah.
still smashed him. The only time I pulled for Chicago besides that Lakers, I didn't like Utah, so I was
Oh yeah.
pulling for Chicago to beat down Utah. Other than that, nah, man, I wasn't pulling for. I wanted somebody to beat Jordan. And people don't
Yeah.
realize that, that's how good this guy was, that nobody has, for 6 years, he deprived other players of rings. Charles Barkley is an MVP, Hall of Famer, and he should have a championship ring, but he couldn't beat Jordan. And for Gary Payton and those guys to get rings, they had to go to other teams when they were, damn, basically elderly.
Yeah,
you
they
know,
were elderly. Gary got it though. That which was dope. I think he got his with Miami. They
Miami.
tried to do the LA joint. Gary and Carmelo with the LA, but it didn't work that particular year. It's hard to play
Mm.
with superstars and people that was effective. So I see that. I remember Jordan was actually talking about putting the elderly team together with Ewan and all the old players just to get him a ring, but it
But
never
he did
happened.
that. He did that in Space Jam, the movie. He got all those-
That don't count. But he did do that. You're right. He said he was going to do it. He did it. It was a movie. Cool. But yeah, it's crazy because Gilbert Arenas on his show, he always talks about Michael and LeBron and the comparison and the 6 rings, which to me, the 6 rings don't make Michael Jordan great, who Michael Jordan was. And then I also think Gilbert's be kind of lying about a lot of things because he says that before Jordan got a ring, people were saying he was the best player of all time. That is just not the case. Like I
Mhm.
feel like Jordan earned it, beating people, him
They
retiring,
were
coming
feeling
back.
him, but they didn't. He wasn't the best player of all time before he got the
Yeah,
championships, and it
I
wasn't
agree.
even off his first championship where he was the best player. I mean, you still had Magic Johnson and Larry Bird in the league. So how was he the best
Yeah,
player?
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Pistons were kicking his
Actually,
butt every year, but
wasn't it
he
after
was
the
up
Dream
and
Team?
coming talent, and he took the slam dunks to another level, and then he had
Yeah,
this the Jordan line was coming out. He was the future.
yeah, yeah. He did things that nobody did. Even today, ain't nobody sticking you up for no LeBrons.
Yeah,
I don't even know
nah.
LeBron's.
I haven't. It's
I
been a
feel
minute
like
since I haven't
Kobe's
seen somebody
brand is
wearing a
better.
pair of LeBrons.
I never
I
seen a
mean, Jordan
person
had
wear
cologne,
LeBron's.
McDonald's. He had everything, man. He advertised for everybody. Xerox, everybody,
I
man.
mean, even a Luca commercial was better on a Jordan brand than I seen any LeBron joint. I will say Anthony Davis. I feel like he will be the face of the league because he has a lot of Jordanish to me. He doesn't want to be the face of the league, but if your talent succeeds, you will be. And I think he does care about basketball. I think he does care about being the best version of himself. And obviously, when he was number one, he wasn't like that. When he became 5, he cut off the hair. His confidence has grown. We seen the dunking ability. He's shooting 3-pointers. So he might not want to be the face of the league, but he damn sure could be the face of the league, and he ain't gonna have no choice. And I feel like MJ was the same thing. Now I will say, commercial wise, they are definitely still a lot of MJ ish. You know what I mean? Trying, and it's Adidas, which is weird, but I give him props, man, and we're
Oh, you're
gonna
not.
see how
Oh,
all that
okay.
plays
All
out.
right. You're right. You're right. I thought you were talking about Anthony Davis. We said AD.
Oh no, 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 hell no.
I'm
I meant
trying to
I
say.
think I said AE. I meant to say AE. If I didn't say AE, I meant AE, Anthony Edwards. Definitely not AD.
That's Anthony Davis. He cut his hair. He did what?
No, 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 not that guy. Nah.
I was trying to put
Ant
it all
Man, Ant
together,
Man.
man.
Nah,
Shoes,
we all good, man.
Jordans, Adidas.
Y'all know what it is, man. The boy Jay running, holding it down. Undrafted Players Show. We are the King Kong of this ish, baby. The sports joint. The boy Magnificent T. Jay
Yeah,
run it. That's me. Who run it? Jay run it. And you know I got to show love to TOV Sports Production for another great joint. You feel me? Keep it locked, keep it hot. Make sure you follow us on all social media platforms by searching Undrafted Players.